Hey guys, I've been keeping a secret, and this is the first time I'm going to be talking about it. And my secret is that I'm trying to become a model. And I really find this funny because that's the last thing I ever thought I would be. Growing up, I never dreamed about being a model because I never thought I was tall enough or skinny enough or pretty enough or whatever. It was just not anything I would consider. So other than the fact that once in a while I strut around my house and I pretend like I'm on a catwalk, that's about as close as I've come to thinking about being a model. So how did this all happen? About 3 months ago, one of my guy friends said to me, "You should become a model." And I said, "Oh, well, thank you. That's really sweet. I don't think so." And he said, "Well, you know, a lot of women in their 60s are being used as models these days." And I thought, well, I didn't know that. And I didn't know how he knew that because he's just a regular guy and he's really not into fashion or anything like that. So I said, well, you know, I'll think about it. So I did think about it and I said, well, maybe I could be a model. And I started doing some research because I know nothing about modeling, nothing at all. So I discovered that, yes, it is true that people in their 60s, 50s, whatever, are being used more as models. And in that case, they don't expect you to be tall or skinny or whatever, you know, because they're used for all different purposes, just to relate to the general public. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I have a chance here. And then I looked and I found an agency that I could apply to. And I know that they would accept just regular photographs to consider you. So given the fact that I don't have a portfolio like a real model would have, I thought, okay, well, you know, it won't hurt, it won't cost me anything just to try it. So that's what I did. I took a few shots of me, and this was really hard because they say they want shots of you looking like you're not wearing makeup, not having your hair styled, or, you know, and that's just totally against the way I normally operate. But I understand the concept because they want a blank slate. People want to imagine what they can do with you. You know, it's like a raw product. So I thought, okay. So I took some of these pictures and I thought, oh, okay, we'll see what happens. And I submitted it. And it's supposed to take about 4 to 6 weeks. So I was really surprised when about 4 days later, I got an email from them. And I thought, okay, here it is. Just prepare yourself. It's a no. It's okay. Your life will go on. So I opened up the email, and I was shocked to see that they said they would accept me on their provisional list. So I'm thinking that means if all the other models, the real models, are hired, that they might look at the provisional list to see who else might be around. So, and the one thing I would need to get off of the provisional list and onto the regular list would be to have a portfolio. So I'm still looking into that, but in the meantime, what I decided to do was to do a little photo shoot of my own, and doing the best I can. I've been kind of studying modeling poses and things like that, and backgrounds, and you know, I'm not a photographer, but I did the best I could, just, you know, in areas of my house. And the way I did it was I took some video clips, and what I'm going to do now is take some screenshots from the clips. So because, you know, it's really hard. I'm not a photographer. I don't, you know, it's really hard to do time release on my camera and then try to jump into place in 10 seconds and pose and all that. So that's the way I did it. So we'll see if that gives any kind of response, you know. And I am still going to look into finding a photographer. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how far I want to take this. You know, I have a desire to be seen and to show people what it's like to be in your 60s, because it's not the same as when I was a child and when I was growing up. And a lot of people still think, oh, you're over the hill, you don't have any use. And the truth is that I feel exactly the same as I always have. And, I'm not a grandmother, I'm not a mother even. So in my mind, I'm still as young as I always was. And I'm still as able as I always was, and full of life. And that's what I want people to see, that you don't have to be pushed into a rocking chair and ignored. And, we're still here, we're still vibrant. And that's really, I guess, would be my motivation for going into modeling. Now, the other thing I had to figure out was what type of modeling. And again, since I've never really thought about, being a model, I didn't know. So I do have to select the types of modeling I'm interested in. And at first, I could really only think of what I was not interested in, and that is anything to do with pharmaceuticals. I don't want to advertise for them, and I also don't want to do trade shows. I'm still not tall enough to do runway, and I don't think I would really want to do that anyway. So my choices are kind of limited. But as I have been doing trying to get more photos of me and thinking about how I like to portray myself, I really think that I would like to do glamour modeling. And that has more to do with the looks of the model, of the person. And so, that's how I see myself in real life. I always like to go out in a glam way. I'm not a natural girl. This is how I go to the store. This is how I look in everyday life. And then when I go out at night, it goes, even higher. I ramp it up even more. So anyway, I'm going to give that a shot and see what happens. Well, that's all for today. I hope you guys have a happy day. We're going to, right, Coda? Bye.